Shalom, la b'chayarim shal yashala. Peace to the election of the nation of Israel. Wa kol halayim la alahayanahu Yahweh b'Hashem Yahushai b'Hashem Rekakudosh. All praises to our power, Yahweh, which is the Heavenly Father's pure name in the Paleo Hebrew, and His only begotten Son, Yahushai, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the Most High, who the world ignorantly calls God. Alright. B'Hashem, meaning in the name, Recha, meaning spirit, Kodash is holy, which I uttered in the Paleo Hebrew, which is the language that has been returned onto the Hebrew Israelites, which consists of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the Hebrew Israelites, you are the Lord's chosen, and of course, you are the only ones that are destined for salvation, which on this side, there's a 1/3, which starts with the 144,000 prophets, okay, which will speak up for the nation, will be the forerunners, the first fruits of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, alright, which will bring back the nation to this truth, alright, through Yahushai, of course, alright, who Yahushai is our, of course, our life. I mean, he's access to, having this understanding of the scriptures. All right. Must give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. All right. Of course, Shanya Kabad, La Shalayachim Nawa. All right. Shanya means double, and Kabad means honor. All right. To, of course, our apostles, which Shalayachim Nawa. All right. And of course, Wa Zakonyam, alright, the elders at Great Millstone, who were well. Shalom wa chesed, peace, wa mercy, and mercy to the election. Shemyah, my name's Amafa Mayan from the Great Millstone Plaintables camp located here. Baha Ayar, are in the city of Philadelphia, PA, Babal in Babylon, coming again with Za'amath, is truth. We have it here, a couple wee articles, which we have here. U.S., meaning United States, may send aircraft carrier, or actually it is, into the Strait of Hormuz. Well, it says here, may send aircraft carrier into the Strait of Hormuz as tensions high commander, which this is obviously a way of provoking, alright, war to Iran. Okay, U.S. can send carrier through Strait of Hormuz despite Iran tensions, which I got a lot of weed notes, but some of the notes which I got is pertaining to this actual Strait of Hormuz, okay, which, Lord willing, if this computer can work, of course, a bit faster, I can retrieve it. It says here, I'm just gonna read of what I have here. You have here the Strait of Hormuz is a strait between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. It says it provides the only sea passage from the Persian Gulf to the open ocean and is the world's most strategic, important choke points. And why is that? Okay, that is because this particular strait is one of the world's most important oil shipping routes. It says 20% of the world's I'm reading from my notes. It says 20% of the world's oil is carried by tankers, and they go through this route. It says 1/5 of the world's oil, speaking about the crude oil, goes through the Strait of Hormuz. All right, which you have. I have this off of actually this Wikipedia. All right. Now, reading on, and it does says it here too. Okay. It says here also, which I got in my notes. It says Iran, Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates ship oil and natural gas through the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, so you have it where actually Iran is threatening to close this strait. Okay, close this particular waterway. Okay, which that would prevent obviously a lot of the world's oil, okay, to be gone through. But that is a way, of course, of this country, all right, being Iran. The so-called Persians, all right, are actually Ayalam, which they're the East Indians, okay, them of course showing their power, okay, in which you have it where America or the United States, they are obviously in interest to pulling down the so-called regime, which they demonize it, all right, in hopes, of course, of what? Putting in a new leader and, of course, extracting that oil, all right, out of course, Iran and such. And also, since Iran poses a threat to Israel, which is one of course, United States allies, all right, because they have a potential influence in the area, in which if they get nuclearly armed, all right, obviously, it as it says is deemed as they threaten Israel, all right, the state of Israel, all right. It says here, U.S. plans to announce new set of sanctions against Iran, all right, in which these sanctions, all right, is a way, of course, of drowning out Iran, all right, trying to kill, of course, the people, their economics, all right, there in Iran. All right, it says here, the Trump administration plans to target a new sector of Iran's economy with package of sanctions to be introduced on Wednesday. Two senior administration officials told Axios News portal, speaking anonymously, that they were not authorized to reveal the new sanctions. The official not say what sector the administration will target. It says Trump official points to possible outcomes of these efforts. Iran is forced to come back to negotiating table to offer the U.S. a more favorable nuclear deal. Don't you have it that I believe the U.S. actually pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, all right, back in May, I believe. You can go back and check for yourself. That's a so-called, I believe it's JOPA, if you abbreviation or acronyms, like you can go into that. Which you have it here, the Iran nuclear deal. You have it here as this is under the Iran nuclear deal framework. It says Iran nuclear deal framework was preliminary framework agreement reached in 2015 between Islamic Republic of Iran and a group of world powers, the P5+1 permanent members of the United States Security Council, the United States, the UK, Russia, France, and China, plus Germany and the EU. All right. It says negotiations to the framework deal over the nuclear program in Iran took place between foreign ministries and the countries of a series of meetings. All right. And you could read into it. Pretty much they didn't, of course, want, like, you have some of the details. According to this framework, Iran would redesign, convert, and reduce its nuclear facilities and accept additional protocol in order to lift all nuclear-related economic sanctions, freeing up tens and billions of dollars of oil revenue and frozen assets. This is in addition to the joint statement the United States and Iran issued a fact sheet of their own. All right, you have here enrichment. Iran's enrichment capability, enrichment level of stockpile will be limited for specific durations. It says there is no enrichment facilities other than Natanz. Iran is allowed to conduct research and development on centrifuges. All right, which this term vaguely hits my memory. Let me just check real quick. I believe it deals with, like, let me see, give me one moment. Yeah, machine that separate fluids from different densities. All right. It says with a agreed scope and schedule, Fordo, the underground enrichment center, converted to a nuclear physics and technology center. All right. You could go into all of this information on your own, though. Pretty much in some, they want, of course, Iran to be, peaceful. All right. To not become a nuclear power. All right. To agree to not, of course, develop nuclear weapons for the most part. But you have it now. Of course, since it's the time of war, well, obviously the Lord is working on the minds of the kings and such. So we have these little wee scuffles are currently undergoing, which will cause Iran and these rest of these nations to ultimately wage war against each other. All right, which this goes all into the World War III. Okay, there was sanctions that were put on our waivers, and now, of course, since most of you have the EU, France, and Germany, UK, concerned over a U.S. end of Iran oil waivers. Right, the U.S. had waivers placed on certain countries to be able to purchase Iranian oil, but now, of course, they want to have 0 countries, all right, to be able to do that. Which, let me see, it was I have in my notes, it says U.S. to end waivers for all countries buying Iranian oil. It says U.S. had granted waivers to 8 countries importing Iran's oil. 8 countries include China and India will be no longer exempt from sanctions. U.S. has hit Iran with a series of economic sanctions. All right. And this is ultimately want to, of course, put maximum pressure on Iran. All right. That's basically what they want to do. All right. But Iran, they're going to show their power. Okay. And this is all biblical prophecy. All right. So let me see whatever information I got. I'm going to go into a couple precepts real quick. This is going to be the book of Job, Ahihawab, which means persecuted in the Hebrew. That's Job's Hebrew name. All right. Job's Ibaryath Shamwa. All right. Job, his name. All right. Bahar Baryath in the Hebrew. So it says here, this is Job 12:12. With the ancient is chachama, or wisdom, and the length of days of understanding. Our length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength. He hath counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up a man, and there can be no opening. Behold, he withholdeth the waters, and they dry up. Also he sendeth them out, and they overturn the earth. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his, in which the Lord is, of course, controlling the so-called white man. All right. He's of course controlling the rest of these nations. All right. The Lord controls all things. All right. And he breaketh down. All right. So it can't be built again. So, the Lord, he's breaking down, obviously, these various nations and breaking down these economies. All right. Ultimately to bring forth his prophecies. All right. To come to pass. The World War III, the RFID microchip coming to pass, etc., etc. All right. It says, he leadeth counselors away spoiled, and maketh the judges fools. Which, you have it where, obviously, the so-called white man, he's holding himself in esteem as being a judge. All right. As Job 9:24 says, that the earth is given in the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who or what is he? Roughly paraphrasing. All right. He, of course, called himself and claimed to be God, and etc., etc. All right. So the Lord, he's making them judges fools. All right. Making them look foolish. All right. Because, like I said, this is only going to lead the U.S. to their demise. All right, their destruction. Ultimately, Esau, Edom, the destruction of the so-called white man who was in rulership, which are the Edomites. All right, the so-called Caucasians. All right, you are Edomites. Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 31, and verse 6, and it says here, or starting at 5, it says, "He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. Gold hath been the ruin of many, and their destruction was pleasant. It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it, and every fool shall be taken therewith." All right. So, I mean, as you see, it's a stumbling block. All right, for one to obviously be greedy, to of course go after obviously great wealth and wickedness and corruption. All right, because they of course deceitfully invade these other countries. All right, they demonize them. All right, claiming to that the leaders are not good for the people. All right, but they actually go and bring forth war and kill millions of people, displace millions of families, of course destroy countries. All right, and ultimately they steal the resources, extract them. All right, so look at Iraq. All right, Afghanistan, etc., etc. All right, stumbling block. I'm not really gonna go into that right now. All right, so anyway, going further, I want to go into this actual article, which was my original lesson. Just give me a wee moment. I can get it. Because it's going to have this actual article, which I'm going to bring up. There's a lot of boastful statements within it. Yeah, so U.S. may send aircraft carrier into the Strait of Hormuz as tensions high commander. It says the commander's remarks comes as the Pentagon has deployed more warships and Patriot interceptors to the U.S. Central Command region, a move that followed National Security Advisor John Bolton, according to deployment of United States ship, I believe that means, Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group to region to contain what Washington sees, all right, as a threat from Iran. It says, speaking to Reuters, Vice Admiral Jim Malloy, commander of the U.S. Navy's Bahrain-based Fifth Fleet, said that he does not rule out sending Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier to a strategic Strait of Hormuz, despite Washington's tensions with Iran. If I need to bring it inside the strait, I will do so. I'm not restricted in any way. I'm not challenged in any way to operate here or her anywhere in the Middle East. And that goes to show you the pride, all right, of obviously the so-called white man. All right, being able to just go into another entirely different region, all right, and to be able to just going up into the area, all right, which these waters aren't for them, all right, and boast these statements, all right, and basically play these war games, provocations and such, all right. And this is the nature of the so-called white man, all right, who's a proud man. Let me see if I can get a precept, and give me a wee moment. This lesson is, for the most part, I have a couple precepts, but most of it is just through the spirit. I think that's Habakkuk. Let me Let me see what I got. Habakkuk. Because Habakkuk, the second chapter. Yeah, this is Habakkuk 2 and 4. This is one of them, but I gotta get another one about him being a proud man. It said, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." Yeah, it's the spirit that's within the so-called white man is wicked. All right, they are the wicked of the earth. All right, you know, they of course do nothing but destruction. All right, to the earth, as you can see. Let me see if I can get another scripture. I think that would be in Ibadiah or Obadiah. About him being a proud man. Being the Edomites. Well, it's right there. Habakkuk 2 and 5. There's another scripture though too. It's like it says, "Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, which is his philosophy. He is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home. He enlargeth his desire as shot wall, and as Mawath or death in hell." Right? Desire is hell, which is the grave, and death, and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right. So this particularly, all with many scriptures describe the wickedness, the nature, the covetousness nature of the so-called white man. All right. Because they have the hegemon. All right. The influence, the power. All right, in the earth. All right, which I should bring up that actual, because I like this word a lot. Right, it says here for hegemony is the political, economic, or military predominance or control of one state over others. Right, which you have it that obviously America sit upon the scarlet colored beast. All right, they of course obviously NATO, the EU, I mean they lead everything. Okay, United Nations, etc., etc. All right, so they want to be able to boss all these other weaker nations. All right, these other weaker nations are starting to, of course, buck up, which that of course is biblical prophecy. All right, let's go back. This is Ayawab or Job 12 and 18. It says, "He loosed the bond of kings, and girded their loins with a girdle." Right, so the Lord actually, all right, gird up these other kings, all the kings for war, etc., etc. "He leadeth princes away spoiled," right, "and overthrowed the mighty." All right, we are Shariam, we are princes of the power. We've been spoiled by these heathen. All right, but it says he overthrew the mighty. Obviously, them being, of course, in that seat being mighty right now. All right, right. It says he removeth away the speech of the trusty, and taketh away the understanding of the aged. He poureth contempt upon princes, and weakeneth the strength of the mighty. And the Lord is weakening the strength, because you have it with when anything goes down with this particular nation, Iran, all right, which is also written here in the scriptures, in the book of 2nd Esdras. I'm going to bring out this scripture, and I'm going to continue back in that article, and then Lord willing, I just close out, because I don't want to make it too long. All right, this is going to be, I'm going to just go to 2nd Esdras starting at 15 and 28. It says, "Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. All right, I'm going to skip down to verse 30. He says also, I'm going to just continue to read. It says, where the nations of the dragon of Arabia, speaking about the Arabs, all right, Ishmael, Yashma'Allah, shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. It says also the Carmanians, which that's basically the Persians. All right, that's the ancient name of the Persians, raging, and which are so-called East Indians are Elam or Elam in the Bible. All right, so it says also the Carmanians raging, and the wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. All right, so you're gonna have it where in the time of World War III, you're gonna have, obviously, you got all these different nations that are allies with America. They're gonna turn, and of course also you're gonna have it where they're gonna team up. You have it where you have you have certain other nations. All right, they're gonna come up against ultimately America, Babylon. All right. Yeah, so as it says, also the Carmanians raging, and the wrath shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, with great pillar shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Syrians. All right, let's go to another back to the article. All right, let's see. So going on, it says referring to U.S. intelligence signal to Iran's allegiance for preparation to stage attacks against American forces. And this, of course, is a false pretense, all right? It's a lie, okay? It says, Malloy said the intelligence was linked with actual activity that we reserve. Show the proof. It says the statement came as the acting of U.S. Defense Secretary Patrick Shannon's order the development of the U.S. Arlington and San Antonio class amphibious transport dock and more than MIM 104 Patriot missile defense system to the U.S. Central Command, the command division covering the U.S. forces in Southwest Asia and Northwestern Africa. It says here the development follows National Security Advisor John Bolton's announcement last week that the U.S. was deploying the U.S. Abraham Lincoln Strike Group and the Bombers Task Force near Iran, in a clear and unmistakable message to the Iran regime that anyone who attack on the U.S. interests or on those who are allies will be met with unrelenting force. And which you have it, they want to drown them out against from their being able to sell their oil, right? Simple as that. It says he also emphasized that Washington is not seeking war, which is a lie, with Iran, but that is fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether it be by proxy, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, or the regular Iranian force. They claim this Islamic Revolution Guard Corp is they say is deemed as a terrorist group. And I mean, this is all this so-called white man's lie. All right. It says Tehran, for its part, rejected allegations that poses. So Iran rejected this, right? That poses a threat to U.S. as fake intelligence, which is true. Iran's Supreme National Security Council spokesman Kevan Khourevi described Bolton's statement as a clumsy use of an outdated event as psychological war. All right, and that's of course the way, the methods of the so-called white man. They are clever, okay? They're sly and crafty. They're a serpent, okay? More serpent than any, more clever or subtle than any beast of the field. You read that in Genesis, all right? This is Obadiah or Obadiah 1:5. It says, if these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Right. But you have it where the so-called white man will take everything, all right? He He'll take absolutely everything that you got. All right. He ain't leaving nothing. He want the world's largest oil reserve, which is in Venezuela. He wants Iran. All right. He wants everything, the whole world. Okay. Let's now go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and I believe that's verse 22. And then I think I'll close off soon. It says, this is Jeremiah 50 and 22. A sound of battle is in the land, and a great destruction. All right, and it definitely is a sound of battle is in the land. All right, especially with all these vessels of war being out there. Okay. You have also air, different, I believe, drones were sent out, or different air vessels were sent out to that region. All right, they got a damn carrier, so it's a lot. And of course, if you didn't know, of course, they can, close that Strait of Hormuz, and that's gonna weaken, not only not only domestically or in their area, particular region, it's going to affect internationally. All right, because a lot of as it goes into 1/5 of the world's oil go through that strait. All right, they can do it via using their various naval vessels, or they can use I believe it said also I believe like mines and stuff. Right. Continue further. I got Aquana, the book of Ayawab, chapter it's going to be chapter 15 and verse 31. Which I'm gonna bring it out before it comes up on the screen. It says here, it says, let him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. All right, if it says it's deceiving, deceiver is his. All right, so they are one that deceive. So they shouldn't trust in vanity, emptiness, which everything that this world is, false witness, false riches and stuff. All right. It says, it shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green. All right, it's gonna die and wither, as what you understand. It says, he shall shake off the unripe grape as the vine, and cast off his flower as the olive. For the congregation of the hypocrites shall be desolate. All right, which they are the hypocrites. All right, as you could see, they are the stage player, they're the actors claiming to be righteous, which they're not. All right, they're the wicked. All right, they claim to even be Israelites. All right, claim to be the chosen, claim to be white, or meaning pure. All right, when they're red. It says they conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, in their belly prepared deceit. All right. So with that, as you can see, this place is gonna be destroyed. All right. World War III is being prepared. All right. Because when you go to the book of Joel, it speaks about the valley of Yehoshaphat, all right, which the Lord was going to gather all the nations, which that's in Joel 3 and 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat, which is the valley of the decision, all right, and I will plead with them there for my people, for my heritage Israel, in whom they have scattered among all nations and part in my land. All right, and of course they parted the land of Israel to Ishmaelites, and obviously these so-called Jews with the Balfour Declaration, 1948, I believe that is. All right, which they are not the true children of Israel. They're imposters. They're Edomites. All right. It says, and of course our people have been scattered, amongst all the nations. All right. Due transatlantic slave trade, which they of course had a major part of. All right, which you can read here. Okay, they had of course roles with not only the Hamites, so-called Africans, but also so-called Arabs as well. All right, coast of Palestine. All right. So a lot of people, they're not, of course, innocent in this. When this all goes down. All right. I'm gonna leave off with this last scripture. This is Joel 3:9. Says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles: Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let the men of war draw nigh. Near, let them come up." All right. So that's basically it. What I'm gonna bring out. World War III is on the horizon. As we can see, with these war games, we can see rumors of wars, occurring. You got these. Here's some of the vessels I was talking about. Flight U.S. B52 bombers reach middle of East and message to Iran. This was published on the 10th. U.S. said on Tuesday the number of B52 bombers will be part of additional forces sent to the Middle East to counter what Trump administration calls as clear indications of threats from Iran. All right. And Iran wants to, of course, you expect them not to, of course, sell their oil. All right. I'm going to probably have to do a part 2 on this to go into it more in depth. But hopefully you're edified. Call Allah, Yahweh, Bashim, Al-Shabbah, Shemar, Kodash, and Double Answer, Elves and Apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect.